Congratulations to the flag. United States of America. To the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice. Approval of minutes from the September 16th meeting.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Public comments? Okay, be another time at the end. Agenda, any additions? Sections? Need a motion to approve the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Our correspondence, we have our DDA, Planning and Zoning, Parks and Rec, and the DTE Public Service Commission. Motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
I have a question. Do we have drawings on any of the stuff that we're doing, that we can put in the newsletter, the swinging bridge thing, what it's gonna kind of, a rendering of it, and what we're doing down at the flag, the city sign, the building?
You want me to post something that on the website?
Yeah, what could,
Yeah. I can do that.
okay.
All right, thank you. Administrator's report.
Couple things, construction projects, we're expecting pavers in town for Moran and State Street either tomorrow or Wednesday. We're finishing up final grading on Brown and Ward. And we're gonna be coordinating the paving of the bike path with Brown and Ward. They're back in town for that. We've got some unfortunate construction barriers out on Flower, redoing the lift station on Flower Street. We have to reroute that pump station, which means running a line across the road. If you go out there and you'll see what I'm talking about. It kind of narrows it down to one lane. We've got appropriate signage and, if people are just slowing down, it should be fine. I know it's an inconvenience, but it's necessary to replace that lift station. Wastewater plant is moving along good. We have 2 construction update meetings on Wednesday of this week. So we'll further finalize plans on Davis for curb and gutter and what the timelines are gonna look like over there. And then at the wastewater plant, we're moving on or ahead of schedule. The deputy clerk's position is the 10-day requirement for the union has expired with no applicants, so we are out to the public now. It's posted on Indeed and it'll be in our local papers with an October 20th, October 21st deadline for applications. So we are gonna, if we get any local interested people, if you could just guide them to Indeed, we're gonna accept all applications through Indeed. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Council members report. I did a drive down Brown and Ward. Sidewalks look great. Looks like it's coming along real well. I see today on my walk that they're getting ready closer to getting ready for pavement. Looks good. I did ask Dave for a financial health report. Not the budget, but where we're at with our investments, what the rules are for our cash investments. I know there's different rules. So, I did ask Dave for that. Since I've been on, we haven't had that. So I think it's important that we kind of take a look at that, especially in this time where maybe we could invest in some of our money and make a little bit more money. So expect that report, hopefully within the next council meeting, just so everybody is aware when you see that come through. And that's all I have. Denise?
A couple of things. I wanted to thank the Gleaners for the stuff that they had, their car show, bike show. They had a good turnout in the movie, the library and all that. And I heard the walk and trot or Halloween thingy this past Saturday had a good turnout. So
Yeah,
them,
they broke
Thanks.
records for fundraising for that too, so
Mhm.
had great weather for it.
Yep.
Thanks.
That's it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Don?
Just a couple of things. I too went down to Brown Street. I was asked by a couple of residents, to come down and take a look. The east side of Brown,
Mhm.
that sidewalk. What is up with that? Every other
Well-
sidewalk, let me finish, please. Every sidewalk on every road we've torn up is flat, with exception of a couple of, gradients that are nice and sloping. This thing looks like it was put down in a hurry. Why? I mean, we're paying good money for this thing, and that east side sidewalk looks like embarrassment.
If you look at the engineer's drawings, though, they had to match the existing elevations, and on that east side of the road, the elevations of those homes do this. We also had to meet the requirement to go from a 3-foot sidewalk to a 5-foot sidewalk, so that changed the angles of approach. By adding that 2 foot, it made some of the approaches steeper. We tried to work that the best we could. We tried to match gradients without having to tear everybody's front yard down to the same grade.
Right, if I remember right, that sidewalk beforehand was pretty
It
level.
wasn't, well, I think you didn't notice it because it was mostly overgrown and all cracked and broken. It did follow those elevations. It just wasn't as noticeable. It's a brand new white sidewalk. We did, I went and I've addressed individual complaints for reviewing the videotape. We take a videotape of that entire project length to compare to things like this. So on Wednesday, we're reviewing that tape. I'll answer some questions.
It's just, one side looks perfect.
Yep, I understand. And Scott and I had those same conversations, and when we looked at the engineer's drawings, the elevations were quite different on the east side of the street than they were on the west. We're gonna be reviewing the videotape to make sure that we didn't do anything we weren't supposed to do.
Right. I understand if the gradient is there, why can't it be like some of the sidewalks that have a gradient? It's just a nice smooth gradient. This looks like you got a hunk of concrete here, and then you laid another one here, and there's no
Believe
Gentle
me,
slope
yep,
to it.
I understand that, and that had existed before, it just wasn't as noticeable. And then with that 5 foot, with adding that 2 feet to the sidewalk, it changed grading elevations on both entrances before and after the sidewalk. So the best thing I can do is review the videotape to make sure that it wasn't, a mix-up. I don't believe it is. It's otherwise we'd have to dig a trench through somebody's front yard and build a mound back and others. We wouldn't be matching any of the existing driveways, so that's what we had to work off of.
All right. Last thing I'll say on it right now is the length looks like it could have been a lot gentler, but concrete, I mean, the sidewalks, I don't know, it doesn't look,
I understand your concerns. I have the same concerns, and that's why we're going to be reviewing the videotape.
all right. Last thing is the library. If you can get with Marty to see how you guys can put something out on our app or on the board out here. Because I asked him if he'd ever put anything out for the costumes, Halloween costumes that he has there at the library.
Available?
Right.
I'll do that.
That's it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sal.
Nothing.
All right, thank you, Randy.
Yeah, where are we at with the blight?
The pictures of everything has been sent to our attorney. I believe letters have gone out because we noticed today that a lot of the cars were removed out of Harrington. And I'm just waiting for feedback if I have to start a new case on Howard here, or if we can enforce what already says as a consent order.
Okay.
I just sent fresh pictures to our attorney.
Okay, is that it, Randy?
Yep.
All right, thank you. No unfinished business, our new business, our liability and insurance bid.
We received one bid from our current carrier. And I'm recommending approval of the bid from
Decker.
Vector Insurance for $124,137. next year, we're gonna bid this out 90 days early. Some of the insurance companies had mentioned that to us, that they felt it wasn't a good timeline for preparing their bid. So we're gonna do it 90 days prior next time.
Perfect. Okay, need a motion to accept the insurance, liability insurance bid from Decker.
So move.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Set the Halloween hours.
6 PM to 8 PM on Thursday, October 31st.
Motion to approve.
Support.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Final pay for deputy clerk.
Motion to approve.
Support.
Favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And we have to revisit this, item D, our opt-out for PA 152.
I had a request for information, which I provided to each of the council members. This is our current utility workers. That were addressed in the last contract. The first column is what we pay in premiums. The second column is what the state would cap that at if we did not opt out. And the third column is what the employer would be responsible for.
And really that, information there has nothing to do with this resolution. This is our contractual agreement that we, missed by one vote last time. Hopefully now we're, have enough education to revisit this vote.
It does require 2/3, which on a 5-person council requires 4 yes votes.
So I'm going to make a motion that we accept the, medical plan opt-out resolution 10/7/24 for calendar year 2025.
Support.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Butler,
Yes.
Sloan,
Yes.
Willis,
Yes.
Maury,
No.
Hernandez.
No.
Again, we need a 2/3 vote. We are in violation of our contract agreement with the utility workers.
All right. We back it up and have some discussion on this. Because I understand it's in the contract and I also understand that for next year, there's a clause in the contract that this contract can be reopened annually for the purposes of the healthcare. My one sticky point is all the information is not being put towards us that, look, this is me. You can say we're educated now. But it's almost like a rubber stamp in this thing. And that's why I asked for this piece of paper is, we're voting on something we don't know the numbers, especially when we're discussing the contract. So, well, to get this
We
thing.
opt out of this since this was incepted, since this was enacted by in 2011, we have opted out every single year. I don't understand what your end game is to, why you would not want to opt out of this.
My end game is to be fully knowledgeable, understanding of what exactly we're doing with the budgetary constraints we have. So I know that we're spending 14,500 without the administrator or Sue or anyone else with the Me Too option when the unions negotiate and get what they negotiated and approved. So it's even more than this.
I've signed a 3-year contract agreement with utility workers.
Right.
So we cannot,
Yes, we can. Next year, we can open it up for the healthcare. So I'll change my vote to get it passed this time. But the thing of it is with the contracts is when we start negotiating, we could do a contract before it comes up to the year that we're doing this vote.
Well, I don't know that, okay, whatever. Do I gotta rephrase it again?
No, since you didn't have discussion before you voted. So if he wants to change his vote, you want me to recall again or?
Roll call vote again. Sal, do you have any questions on this?
Well, my biggest thing too is the whole, it's been under the contract and again, I'm seeing things that, you know, and I'm trying to figure it out. What I'm looking at and I'm looking at, yeah, I see numbers. I see certain things here, but I'm not seeing what I want to be able to see and the biggest thing is opening the contract to change something. And when you open, sometimes when you open contracts, then you're also open it to the rest of the groups. And that's my concern with that. Is that I'm not one that you sign a contract, I'm not one that to sit here and says, okay, let's go back to the contract when we already signed it and go ahead and open it up because we want to do this and we want to do that. But you know, I mean, with that, that was kind of my concerns. Okay.
Gotcha. I would imagine that clause would state if it's, we can open it up for insurance if there's a change in insurance policy or premium. If there isn't, then we cannot.
That's not what it says. It says,
It's a 3-year agreement, it's a 3-year agreement. You're gonna just open it up, if we want to open it up for wages and insurance. I don't know why they'd want to sign a 3-year deal. Because I don't think you're gonna go back to you're gonna open that contract up and say you have to pay X amount of dollars towards this. We're gonna run into a bunch of trouble there.
Well, it's fairly disproportionate too, if you look at, you know, some employees would be severely affected and others would have no
Mhm.
effect.
this contract may be reopened annually for healthcare purposes only. So.
That's it, huh? That's
And
all.
the city agrees, offer full current to provide 50%. So that's what we're doing right now, but it just says this contract may be reopened annually for healthcare purposes only. And that's my concern, is just the budgetary constraints that we have. What is sustainable? And if we're always doing this every year because it's in the contract, and then we fall into what the calendars are for contract negotiations, and when this is supposed to be due for the state, well, it's always going to be rubber stamp.
We could have negotiated that when we did our contract.
Right.
We chose not to. We chose to keep the insurance the same and those numbers the same.
Yeah, and I've never seen these numbers until tonight.
That's not true.
Well,
All right, well, we did talk about that. It was in a different session. We talked about those numbers and what they were, what they cost the employee or the city. I guess if there's no more discussion, or do you have more discussion?
nah, I'm pushing a rock uphill.
Okay, so I'll do roll call vote again on this resolution.
Butler,
Yes.
Sloan,
Yes.
Willis,
Yes.
Maury,
Yes.
Hernandez.
Yes.
5 years.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Go on, public comments. Any public comments? Okay. Pay the bills.
$878,758.45.
Move.
All in favor?
I
All right, before no further business, we do stand adjourned. Thank you.